this is rolling. Okay, cool. Wow, look at it. Hi, this is Deepmind 12. Just kidding, Zip. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Ben. I've got a really quick basic tip. If you've messed with MIDI for any time, you probably already know this. So this is really for like the absolute noobs of synthesizer. It's definitely catered towards those of you that are transitioning over from softsynths into hardware analog synthesizers. I guess it doesn't have to be analog, but hardware synthesizers. And this idea was spawned from a buddy of mine. He's doing the very same thing. He usually uses Diva and Serum and things like that. And he's like,
hey, I just got this new hardware synthesizer,
which happened to be the Deepmind.
I got this synthesizer, I'm plugging it in, and I play the notes and I play the chords and it sounds great. Record the data, and then when I play it back, it sounds different.
And through a series of trial and error, we figured out pretty quick what it is, and it's the local switch on your synthesizer. When you play with your synthesizer's local on, it's actually using the data that's coming from your fingertips and feeding that into the engines here, the VCOs, the VCFs, all that stuff. So in the case of the Deepmind 12, it has 12 voices, or what that means is you could essentially play 12 different notes at once. When I hit the C note, it's internally playing that voice, but in addition, because it's plugged into the computer here, it's actually sending that data to the computer, which is then telling the Deepmind, hey, play a C note. And so in effect, what's happening is you're playing two voices instead of one. So I get, if you can see these dots here, when I hit the C note, it should be one note, but you can see it's using two. So you can very quickly get into a situation where voices are getting robbed. And what that means is, as you play the older notes, you're filling up and using up all the available voices. As you play new notes, it's robbing some of the older notes that you played to allocate those voices to the new notes that are played. I know that sounds confusing, but let me show you this. I'm going to modify this patch. So each note is, let's say, 3 voices. Unison 3 means each note is 3 voices. Now keep in mind, I still have the local on setting. So what that's going to mean is it's going to allocate 3 voices internally, but it's going to also send that to the computer and say, hey, play 3 voices on the Deepmind. So in essence, each note is going to play 6 voices now. And you can hear how thick that sounds. And you can see here, all 6 voices are getting played. So now when I play 2 notes, I've used up all 12 voices. So now if I play a 3rd note, it's going to rob 3 of those voices that were originally played. Let's say I play 2 Cs, but then I play a high note up here, or maybe another one. I've essentially lost all of my low notes because they've been robbed. Now let me show you what it's actually supposed to sound like. I'm going to go into my global settings here and I'm going to turn local off. This is actually what the synthesizer sounds like. 1 note, 3 voices. So now if I were to do that same, I could do this. So you can hear there I still get to keep my bass notes and get to play the higher registries as well. Some of you might be saying, well, that's fine as long as the data that's getting recorded matches what's being played. And you are right about that. Even though when local is on, it's playing double the voices here, when you play it back, it is still only going to play from the computer's perspective, or in other words, the correct amount of voices per note. That's exactly the problem my friend was having. He's hearing double the voices, or more width, more thickness, whatever the patch is. When he's playing it back, it has a noticeably less amount of oomph to it. Bass, for example, is one of those things where you might notice this. This is just normal generic dub bass. Notice the bass is now going to sound a lot more thicker, a lot wider. You can imagine how this would sit differently in a mix. It's gone from a 1-voice patch to a 2-voice patch now. I had a situation come up like this pretty recently where I had to do a pre-taped live stream show. Turned the local on, since I was just playing it live. When I was done, I pushed the synthesizers off to the side. A week later, I decided to get the studio back in order and plug everything back in. And if you know anything about Moog synthesizers, they pride themselves on their very analog nature, especially recently. So there's no menus, there's no navigating to a global setting and turning it to on and off. You have to use like a complex code, like hold down the C1 key and press the synchronize button. Now you're in code menu. Now, anyway, it's a complicated thing. So naturally I got that all back in order and everything is set up how I like it. And I do recommend that if you're setting up your synthesizer for your studio, definitely make sure local is off on every synthesizer. Believe me, somewhere down the line, it's definitely going to make it easy for you. All right, guys, I hope this helped some of you out. Thank you very much for checking it out. Please subscribe, like, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you next time.